Yeah, we. Here we go. Here's the second gather round concept video I'll be doing, but this time we're going towards the other side of Adelaide. I mean, not the eastern side heading towards Queensland, but towards the western seaboard. It's gone to Perth. To see what would happen if there's a Western Australian gather round. Anyways, to kickstart the round on Thursday night, we're going Fremantle versus Carlton at Optus Stadium. That would be a hectic game to kickstart gather round. To kickstart gather round Western Australian style. Fremantle and Carlton on Thursday night. These two have had a lot of thrillers over the years. Like that one in 2019 when Mark Murphy kicked the winning goal for the Blues. 2020. Well, it was Jack Nunes who won it after the siren for Carlton. 1996, Fremantle ended Carlton's 18-game winning run in round 3. That was a hectic game of footy. Not one of them expected Fremantle to win that match. And I've got that being the 7:20 p.m. game on Thursday night in Perth at Optus Stadium. Friday nights, well, we'll probably go North Melbourne versus GWS on Friday night football at hang on. This is a GWS. On Friday night, I got GWS versus North Melbourne. Oh, that's an early Friday game. This one will be at... Let me check the travel distance from Bunbury to Perth. Yes? Yep. Yep. Sorry about that, Mum. Friday, I'm going Gold Coast Suns versus Richmond. And this one is going to be at Fremantle. Got this one being at Fremantle Oval on Friday afternoon. It'll be the first Friday game of the round. Demma Hardwick versus his old side. But at Fremantle Oval. It'll be the first game of Fremantle Oval for premiership points. On Friday night, I'm going Adelaide versus Collingwood at Optus Stadium. On Friday night, the gather round, I've got Adelaide and Collingwood at Optus Stadium in Perth. 7:20 p.m. kickoff time. Maybe it's the west one, maybe it's in a four-player Bunbury. Now 53 drive from Perth. Anyways, now we move on to Saturday afternoon. On the Saturday, we got GWS versus Port Adelaide. And it's a 110 game at Hands Oval in South Bunbury. This is like a Mount Barker or Barossa Valley type situation for Perth. Instead, they'll be having their regional game over at South Bunbury. Saturday twilight game, we return to Optus Stadium for St Kilda versus Hawthorn. That one being a 4:40 p.m. kickoff time, Hawthorn and St Kilda over in Optus. On Saturday night, well, it seems fitting. Why don't we have the 2021 Grand Final rematch at this ground at 7:20 p.m.? That would be a great Saturday night game in Perth, Melbourne and the Bulldogs. Sunday. First of the Sunday games, well, we return to Hands Oval. This time, it will be North Melbourne versus the Sydney. This time, it's going to be North Melbourne versus the Sydney Swans. Over at Hands Oval. And again, 1:10 kickoff. They've just relegated the Swans to Bunbury. And got the Kangaroos playing out at Bunbury as well. Meanwhile, Sunday afternoon, 3:20 p.m. at Fremantle Oval. I'm going to Brisbane Lions versus Essendon. The reason why I had Brisbane and Essendon versus each other in Fremantle Oval. Well, it's like, where else am I going to fit another game? As considering I ended up with Saints and Hawthorn versus each other at Optus. I mean, wait a minute. Let's swap it around a bit. On the Sunday, I'll probably have Saints and Hawthorn at Fremantle Oval. For the Saturday, I'm going with Essendon versus the Brisbane Lions at Optus Stadium. And then we close Gather Round. Then this is the game to close off Gather Round. West Coast versus Geelong at Optus Stadium, 7:20 p.m. And the two have had a bit of history against each other, like maybe the 92 and 94 grand finals. And they versed each other in the very first Gather Round at Adelaide Oval. Let me know in the comment section whether did you prefer whether the Gather Round should stay in Adelaide or which state do you reckon will pick it up in 2027. We'll find out in the decision after the Port Saints game, but just before.